we've had a significant paradigm shift over the last 3-4 years. The pandemic actually accelerated a lot of MSME movement to digital. If you look at digital payment transaction growth in India, we're growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 30%. From 2020 to 2025, from about 1 trillion transactions to almost 1.9 trillion transactions is what we're expected to see the growth, and almost triple by 2030. Now, when you think about this kind of growth in terms of volume, you should expect that, hey, how is the threat landscape changing from a risk perspective, right? Both from a risk and from a security perspective. This is top of mind for everyone, right? So as threats increase, customers obviously tend to choose a more trusted provider, right? And so even as a merchant and an MSME, you want to make sure that you are, providing that framework where people feel like, okay, I come here, there is a trusted set of offerings that I can, leverage. You should think about the layers of security that a merchant should have, an organization that provides this kind of digital payment should have. So hyper personalization is definitely the mantra. So how do you think about building an effective risk management program? It requires a solid understanding of the types of risk that you're going to face, the types of channels that you have, the type of products that you sell, and of course, the customers that you tend to attract. So thinking about risk, you could think about it as, hey, I'm going to try and mitigate risk, I'm going to try and transfer risk, or I'm going to, it's part of my, business. I have to accept, certain types of risk, right? And so you have to basically play the return on investment game. Your end customer is changing, and especially the one who's a professional fraudster is changing every day. They are actually leveraging cutting edge technology. And so as an SME, you have to make sure that you are battle ready. Key things that play a role, customer data is very, very valuable. Geospatial data is very, very valuable, right? And so you marry, data around how you can differentiate, the good from the bad. And you marry that with, good machine learning techniques. You bring in self-learning, AI, natural language processing. That becomes the bedrock, the foundation for risk management in the digital age. Leveraging trusted issuers, trusted acquirers, trusted processors, trusted service providers builds a brand of trust for the SME as well, right? Now, one last thing that I would say is that it's important to continuously train and invest in a skilled workforce as well. Super important to make sure that, you have people who are doing this for a living, because you're competing with someone who's doing this for a living. I think all of us will agree that cloud offers significant flexibility compared to on-prem setups. As we all think about digital transformation, we should definitely have cloud top of mind for a lot of the work that we do. Choosing the right model becomes super important. So what you need to do is you need to think about your own set of products, your own set of business offerings. In a sense, you have to figure out, hey, what are the things that actually make sense to be on the cloud, and what are the things that make sense for us to actually have on our premises, right? Like local, server setups. In general, transition to the cloud is fairly cost effective. A lot of new businesses, new SMEs are starting today, and they're already, starting cloud ready, right? And so from that perspective, being there actually makes a lot of sense. But for established SMEs, you have to think about ROI, and it's good to align your cloud budget and strategy to business goals. Again, remember, like the risk story, again, you will have to have a set of, dedicated people who have expertise in this kind of hybrid world that you might end up going, right? So it's actually good to actually think about it. And sometimes you might say, hey, you know what? It's not worth the effort to actually have an on-prem setup. I'll just go cloud fully. That's perfectly fine as well. So again, think about what it means for you and your business, and what it actually helps you in terms of, serving your customers.